It begins with silence, not the kind you hear in an empty room, but the kind that stretches across the void of space. A silence so deep, it swallows every thought, every sound. Out there, beyond the reach of our sun's warm light, is nothing but cold darkness. And yet, in the midst of this infinite emptiness, hangs something impossibly rare. Our home, a sphere of blues, greens, and swirling clouds. A place alive with motion, with color, with life. It doesn't just exist, it thrives. Rivers carve paths through the land as if guided by an unseen hand. Mountains rise like monuments. Forests breathe in sync with the air we breathe. The tides themselves follow a rhythm, pulled by a moon that never turns its face away. What are the odds? How could so many perfect conditions align in one place? The exact tilt of the earth that creates seasons. The perfect distance from the sun that keeps water liquid. The invisible shield of our magnetic field that protects us from deadly solar winds. Was all this a cosmic accident? A stroke of random luck in the chaos of the universe? Or was it something else? Look closely, and you might see more than coincidence. You might see intention, design, purpose, every snowflake, every leaf, every heartbeat, all part of a pattern so intricate that even our most advanced minds struggle to explain it. Ancient civilizations looked up at the skies and believed the earth was placed here for a reason. Modern science calls it fine-tuning, an improbable balance that allows us to exist at all. But what if both are right? What if this planet is not just a rock in space, but a masterpiece? What if the oceans were poured like paint, the mountains carved like stone, the forests planted like a garden? And what if we, fragile, searching, questioning humans, were meant to find the answer? Because if Earth was designed, then somewhere, there must be a designer. And that changes everything. If the thought of unraveling this mystery sends shivers down your spine, you're not alone. This is just the beginning of our journey, so make sure you subscribe and join our growing community of curious minds. Together, we'll follow the clues, challenge what we know, and search for the truth about our home in the cosmos. In this documentary, we'll explore one of the most profound questions humanity has ever faced. What if Earth was designed? We'll look at the science that reveals our planet's astonishing precision, the history of civilizations that saw divine intention in the world around them, and the cutting-edge theories that bridge the gap between faith and reason. From the ancient wisdom etched in stone to the modern discoveries hidden beneath microscopes and telescopes, we'll travel through time, across continents, and deep into the heart of the Earth itself. By the end, you may never see our planet, or your place on it, the same way again. In the beginning, there was nothing but darkness. Not the kind of darkness we know on Earth, where stars twinkle above us and the horizon hides in shadow, but a true infinite blackness. Space is vast beyond human imagination, an endless ocean without a shore. If you could drift through it for 1,000 lifetimes, you would still see nothing but a cold, empty void stretching in every direction. No light, no warmth, no air to breathe. Out here, life does not simply struggle, it cannot exist at all. And yet, in this overwhelming emptiness, there is one fragile glowing sphere. Suspended in the darkness like a jewel, it turns slowly, cradled by nothing but gravity. This is Earth, our home, our sanctuary, our only refuge. Against all odds, it is alive. Blue oceans shimmer under golden sunlight. Clouds drift across green and brown continents. The air is soft and breathable, and water flows freely in rivers and lakes. It is as if a small, perfect world has been planted in a place where nothing else can survive. When you compare Earth to the rest of the universe, its uniqueness is almost shocking. Most planets are frozen wastelands, their surfaces buried in ice and shadow. Others are scorched deserts, baked under the unblinking heat of their stars. Some are nothing but swirling gas storms, their violent winds tearing at anything that dares to exist. But Earth is different. It is gentle yet strong, stable yet every detail seems to be tuned with precision, as though someone, or something, prepared it carefully, step by step, before life could take its first breath. Think about our position in the solar system. If we were just a little closer to the sun, our oceans would have boiled away. If we were just a little farther, they would have frozen solid. But here we are, sitting in what scientists call the Goldilocks zone, the narrow band of space where temperatures are just right for liquid water to exist. Without that water, life as we know it could never have begun. This perfect distance is not a wide range. It's razor thin, like threading a needle on a cosmic scale. And then there's our moon. To most of us, it's just a quiet companion that lights up the night sky. But in reality, it's a guardian, a stabilizer. The moon's gravitational pull keeps the Earth from wobbling too much on its axis. Without it, our planet would tilt wildly over time, creating extreme seasons that could wipe out fragile ecosystems. The tides it creates help stir the oceans, mixing nutrients and allowing marine life to thrive. In a way, our moon is like a silent partner in the great work of keeping Earth alive. Our atmosphere is another miracle. It is thin, thinner than the skin of an apple if you scale Earth down to that size. And yet it protects us from deadly radiation, from burning meteors, and from the freezing emptiness of space. It holds the right mix of gases: oxygen for us to breathe, nitrogen to keep that oxygen stable, and carbon dioxide to trap just enough heat for life to flourish. If the balance were even slightly different, we might not be here at all. And then there is our invisible shield, the magnetic field, generated deep within the molten core of our planet. It stretches far into space, deflecting the charged particles that stream constantly from the sun. Without it, the solar wind would strip away our atmosphere in a matter of millions of years, leaving us as bare and lifeless as Mars. This unseen protector is something we rarely think about, but without it, the story of life on Earth would have ended before it even began. When you put all of these conditions together, the distance from the sun, the presence of the moon, the protective atmosphere, the magnetic field, the odds of them all existing in one place are almost unimaginably small. It is like rolling a million dice and having them all land on the same number. Scientists debate whether it's pure chance or something more, but even the most skeptical minds admit it is extraordinary. Now, imagine this from another perspective. Not as a scientist, but as a traveler in space. You're floating in a spacecraft, moving away from Earth. At first, you see the details. Cities glowing faintly in the night, swirling white clouds, the outline of continents you've known since childhood. But as you drift farther, the details fade, and Earth becomes just a sphere of blue and white. Keep going, and soon it's nothing more than a tiny point of light, almost indistinguishable from the stars around it. In the vastness of the cosmos, it looks impossibly small, and impossibly precious. This is why astronauts often speak of the overview effect, a shift in consciousness they feel when they see Earth from space. They realize how fragile it is, how thin the line between life and death truly is out here. They see no borders, no divisions, only one shared home, wrapped in a thin veil of air. Many of them return changed, speaking with a kind of reverence about our planet, as if they had glimpsed something sacred. And perhaps they have. Because whether by chance or by design, Earth is not just a planet among billions. It is a sanctuary in an otherwise hostile universe. It is a stage set with care, where every prop, every light, every condition is prepared for a single, breathtaking performance. The story of life. If you think about it, this preparation feels intentional. The ocean's ready to cradle the first living cells, the land shaped to give shelter, the atmosphere crafted to let in the right light and hold the right warmth. Even the dangers, storms, volcanoes, earthquakes, play a role in shaping and renewing the earth, much like a gardener pruning a tree to make it grow stronger. It is as if every element, from the grand scale of the solar system to the smallest grain of sand, is part of a careful plan. Standing on the surface of this planet, we rarely feel the danger that surrounds us. But beyond the thin shell of air above our heads lies a cold, lifeless vacuum. Out there, temperatures plunge to hundreds of degrees below zero in the shadows, or soar to unimaginable heat under direct sunlight. There is no air to breathe, no water to drink, no soil to plant a seed. Every second of every day, Earth shields us from these threats, like a fortress guarding its people. And so we live, often unaware of the cosmic dangers, going about our days as if our safety is guaranteed. But the truth is, it isn't. It depends on a delicate balance. A balance that, if altered even slightly, could tip our world into chaos. That balance has been kept for billions of years. The question is, by what? Some say it's luck, the natural outcome of countless random events. Others look at the precision of it all, the way every piece fits together, and see the hand of a designer. Whatever the answer, one thing is certain. Earth is not ordinary. It is a miracle wrapped in the fabric of the universe, a light in the darkness, a stage where the drama of existence unfolds. As we step deeper into this journey, we must remember, before there could be life, before there could be history, before there could be us, there had to be a place. And that place had to be ready. The cosmic stage had to be built, lit, and prepared for the moment when the first living thing would take the first breath. This is where our story begins. In the middle of nowhere, on a world that should not exist, and yet, somehow, does. If the universe is an ocean, then planets are its scattered islands. Most of them barren, empty, and hostile. Among them, Earth feels almost impossibly rare, as though it were a single green gem hidden among lifeless stones. This is no ordinary coincidence. When we look closely, we find layer after layer of conditions that seem too perfect, too precise, too simply happen by chance. These are the signs of fine-tuning, the details that make Earth not just habitable, but ideal for life. It begins with our position in the solar system. We orbit the sun at a distance, so exact that it seems almost deliberate. Too close, and our oceans would have boiled away under relentless heat. Too far, and they would have frozen into silent wastelands of ice. Scientists call this the Goldilocks zone, the narrow strip where temperatures are just right for liquid water. But the truth is, this zone isn't a wide, comfortable space. It's thin. So thin that if Earth drifted just a small fraction closer or farther, the balance would break, and life as we know it could not exist. Imagine trying to thread a needle while standing on a ship in a storm. That is the precision of our orbit. Yet distance alone isn't enough. The sun itself plays its part in this balance. Our star is neither too hot nor too cold compared to others in the galaxy. It burns steadily, giving a constant stream of light and warmth. Some stars flare violently, sending bursts of deadly radiation into space. Others flicker and fade, unable to sustain steady conditions. But our sun is calm, stable, and generous, a steady heart beating at the center of our system. This stability has allowed life to evolve over billions of years, without constant catastrophe. And then there is the moon. It may seem small and distant, but its influence on Earth is enormous. The moon's gravity locks our planet's tilt at just the right angle, about 23.5 degrees. Without this stability, Earth would wobble like a spinning top, causing wild climate swings. Seasons could shift so violently that agriculture might be impossible, and fragile ecosystems would collapse. The moon's steady pull keeps our seasons predictable, our climate stable, and our oceans in rhythmic motion. Those tides we see at the shore, waves gently rising and falling, are more than just a beautiful sight. They mix the oceans, moving nutrients across vast distances. This movement feeds marine life, supports coastal ecosystems, and may even have played a role in the earliest stirrings of life itself, when simple organisms first began to evolve in tidal pools billions of years ago. Without the moon, Earth's oceans might have been stagnant, their life-giving chemistry locked away. But the moon's work does not stop there. It also acts as a kind of shield. Its gravitational influence slightly alters the paths of asteroids and comets, steering some of them away from Earth. It's not a perfect defense, but it has likely reduced the number of catastrophic impacts over the ages. Impacts that could have wiped out entire chapters of life's history. If the sun and the moon are our great cosmic partners, then the atmosphere is our delicate veil of protection. Thin and invisible, it surrounds the planet like the skin of a soap bubble. Yet this fragile layer does everything for us. It holds the oxygen we breathe, keeps our water from evaporating, and traps just enough heat to keep us warm. Its composition is so finely balanced that even small changes could spell disaster. Consider oxygen. On Earth, it makes up about 21% of our atmosphere, just enough for animals like us to thrive, but not so much that fires rage uncontrollably across the planet. Nitrogen makes up most of the rest, acting as a stabilizer for oxygen. Then there is carbon dioxide, only a tiny fraction, but essential for keeping the planet warm through the greenhouse effect. Change any of these ratios too much, and life becomes impossible. Raise oxygen levels too high, and our world becomes dangerously flammable. Lower it too much, and we suffocate. And still, there is another protector, one we cannot see, but without which none of this would matter. Deep within Earth's core, molten iron swirls like a vast churning ocean. This movement generates a magnetic field that stretches far into space. We call it the magnetosphere, and it is our invisible shield against the sun's fury. Every second, streams of charged particles. The solar wind race toward Earth at incredible speeds. Without the magnetic field, these particles would strip away our atmosphere, leaving us as bare and dead as Mars. But instead, they are deflected, forced to swirl harmlessly around us, creating the breathtaking auroras we sometimes see near the poles. Even our planet's rotation is part of this fine-tuning. Earth spins once every 24 hours, giving us day and night. This steady rhythm keeps temperatures from swinging too wildly between scorching days and freezing nights, as happens on planets with slower rotations. The speed of this spin also helps drive weather systems, distributing heat and moisture around the globe in patterns that support life. When you put all these elements together, the exact distance from the sun, the moon's stabilizing presence, the perfect composition of the atmosphere, the magnetic field's protection, the steady rotation, the odds of them all aligning are almost unimaginable. It's as though every dial, every setting, every detail was adjusted with care. Now imagine approaching Earth from space, preparing for entry. The spacecraft's heat shield glows as it cuts through the atmosphere. You feel the air around you grow thick, protective, slowing your descent. This is no accident. This blanket of gases has just the right density to burn up most meteors before they reach the ground, and just the right pressure to cushion a safe landing. You are wrapped in a planet's embrace, descending into a world prepared to receive you. It's hard not to wonder, who or what prepared this place? Was it the slow, blind work of nature over billions of years? Or was there a hand, a mind, adjusting the balance, setting the stage? Science can measure the details, calculate the probabilities, and explain the processes, but the question of why remains beyond its reach. And perhaps that is the most tantalizing part of all, because if Earth is a result of fine-tuning, then life is not just a cosmic accident. It is part of a plan so vast and so precise that it has been unfolding since the birth of the universe itself. Whether that plan comes from God, an ancient intelligence, or laws of nature we do not yet understand, it makes our existence feel like part of something greater. In the end, these signs of fine-tuning remind us of one truth. We live in a fragile miracle. Every sunrise, every breath, every wave that crashes on the shore is possible only because countless conditions work together in perfect harmony. Break one thread, and the whole design unravels. Keep them all in place, and life can flourish in ways that are beautiful beyond words. And as we stand here, under the warmth of the sun, bathed in the light of the moon, protected by the air we breathe and the shield we cannot see, it is hard to believe this is just luck. It feels intentional. Long before telescopes scanned the stars or satellites measured the Earth's orbit, humans looked at the world around them with wonder and questions. Where did this place come from? Who made the rivers flow, the mountains rise, the seasons change? How could such a balanced and beautiful world exist in the middle of endless space? Without the tools of modern science, ancient people turned to what they did have: their imagination, their traditions, and their deep sense that life itself must have meaning. For them, the Earth was not an accident, it was a creation, and every culture, in every corner of the world, wove its own story to explain the mystery. In ancient Mesopotamia, one of the first great civilizations, the people told the story of Tiamat and Marduk. Tiamat, a great goddess of the ocean, represented the chaos before creation. Marduk, a powerful young god, defeated her in a mighty battle. From her divided body, he shaped the heavens and the earth. Her waters became the seas, her bones became the mountains, and her breath became the wind. In this story, the earth was born not from chance, but from the purposeful act of a god who brought order to chaos. Travel east to ancient India, and you find the Hindu creation myth. Here, the universe moves in endless cycles of birth, death, and rebirth. At the beginning of each cycle, the god Vishnu lies upon the cosmic serpent Ananta, floating on an endless ocean. From his navel grows a lotus flower, and from the lotus emerges Brahma, the creator god. Brahma shapes the heavens, the earth, and all living beings. In this vision, creation is not a single moment but an eternal process, a divine rhythm that has no beginning and no end. In the lands of the ancient Egyptians, the story was different again. They believed that in the beginning, there was nothing but a dark, watery chaos. Then came Adam, the self-created god, who emerged from the waters and spoke the world into being. The sky goddess Nut arched over the earth god Geb, separating the heavens from the land. The Nile River, vital to Egyptian life, was seen as a gift from the gods, a sacred vein running through the body of the earth. For the Egyptians, the balance of their world was maintained through Mat, divine order, and harmony. Far to the north, in the icy landscapes of the Vikings, the Norse people told of a vast void called Gingap. From its frozen and fiery edges came Ymir, the first giant. When the gods, Odin, Vili, and Vili, they used his body to build the world, his flesh became the land, his bones the mountains, his blood the seas, and his skull the dome of the sky. Even the stars were sparks from the realm of fire, set in place to light the heavens. Here too, Earth was the result of deliberate craftsmanship by divine beings. On the islands of Polynesia, far across the oceans, the Maori people of New Zealand told the story of Rangi and Papa, the Sky Father and the Earth Mother. In the beginning, they were locked together in a tight embrace, and their children lived in darkness between them. Longing for light and space, the children pushed their parents apart. Rangi wept for Papa, and his tears became rivers and lakes. In this story, the world we know, with its open skies and flowing waters, was born from love and separation. In the Americas, the Navajo told the tale of a world that emerged from a series of earlier, smaller worlds below. The earth we live on now is the fifth world, created when the holy people prepared the land, shaped the mountains, and placed the rivers. The balance of nature was part of a sacred design, and humans were expected to live in harmony with it. The Maya of Central America had their own vision. The gods tried 3 times to create humans, first from mud, then from wood, but both attempts failed. Finally, they made people from maize, the corn that still sustains the Maya to this day. In this way, their very existence was tied to the crops and land around them. What all these stories share is a deep sense of purpose. The earth, in every culture's vision, was made for a reason. The mountains were placed where they stand, the rivers flow where they do, the animals live as they were meant to. Nothing was random. For ancient people, the idea that the world could have just happened without intention was unthinkable, and there is something remarkable about these myths. Despite being separated by oceans and thousands of years, they share common threads. Many speak of creation arising from chaos, a formless void, a cosmic ocean, or darkness. Many involve a powerful being or beings who shape the land, the sky, and life itself. Many see the earth as a living thing, not just a place, but a being with spirit and purpose. In these ancient minds, the perfection of the earth was not a coincidence to be explained, but a gift to be respected. If the seasons came on time, it was because the gods kept their promise. If the rains fell, it was because the balance between heaven and earth was intact. And when disaster struck, drought, flood, famine, it was seen as a sign that this balance had been broken, often by human actions. For the ancients, the beauty of the earth was proof of its divine origin. The delicate curve of a seashell, the endless patterns of snowflakes, the way a seed grows into a towering tree, all were signs of a maker's hand. They did not separate the sacred from the natural. To them, nature was sacred. This way of thinking shaped not just their beliefs, but their way of life. They built temples aligned with the stars, as if to connect heaven and earth. They marked the solstices and equinoxes, celebrating the turning of the seasons as holy events. They crafted stories that could be told around fires for generations, ensuring that no one forgot where the world came from or why it mattered. And while modern science offers us a different language for describing how the earth formed, talking of gravity, chemistry, and physics, there is still something in us that responds to these older stories. Perhaps it's because they speak to a truth beyond measurements and equations. The feeling that we belong here, that this planet is not just our home by accident, but by design. These ancient myths remind us of something we often forget, that the earth is precious. Not just because it sustains us, but because it has meaning. Whether that meaning comes from gods, from cycles of nature, or from the mysterious forces that shaped the universe. It gives our lives a sense of connection to something greater. Even now, thousands of years later, we can still stand under the same stars that guided the first storytellers. We can still feel the wind that they believed carried the breath of the gods. We can still drink the water they thought flowed from divine tears. And maybe, as we listen to their stories, we are reminded of a time when the earth was not just a rock in space, but a sacred gift, designed, prepared, and given to us with purpose. For thousands of years, humans explained the perfection of Earth through myths and divine stories. But as science advanced, we began searching for answers using observation, mathematics, and experimentation. We built telescopes to see farther than the eye could imagine, microscopes to peer into the smallest details of life, and equations to measure the forces shaping the cosmos. Yet the deeper we looked, the more one strange truth kept emerging. Earth, and life itself, seem finely tuned. The fine-tuning hypothesis is a scientific idea that points to this exact mystery. It starts with a simple observation. For life to exist, a vast number of physical conditions have to be exactly right. If even one of these conditions were different, life, at least as we know it, could never have emerged. This isn't just about Earth's distance from the sun or the presence of water. It goes far deeper, to the very laws of physics that govern the universe itself. The force of gravity, for example, is incredibly precise. If it were even slightly stronger, stars would burn out too quickly for life to develop. If it were slightly weaker, stars might never ignite at all. The strength of the electromagnetic force, the ratio of the masses of protons to electrons, the way nuclear reactions work inside stars, all of these numbers are set at values that allow complex chemistry to exist. Change any of them, and the universe might still exist, but it would be lifeless. Scientists call this fine-tuning because it's as if the universe is a machine with countless dials, each one set to a very specific value. In theory, those dials could have been set to any number, yet somehow, they're set to the tiny range that allows life to be possible. The odds of that happening by random chance are unimaginably small. This leads directly into something called the anthropic principle. At first it sounds almost obvious. The universe must have the conditions necessary for life, because we are here to observe it. In other words, if the universe were not suited for life, we wouldn't be here to ask these questions in the first place. But the anthropic principle has deeper implications. It forces us to think about why the universe has these life-friendly conditions at all. There are different interpretations of the anthropic principle. Some scientists use it simply as a reminder not to be surprised that the universe allows life. After all, we couldn't exist in one that didn't. Others take it further, seeing it as a clue that the universe might have been made with life in mind. If the settings of the cosmic machine are so precise, perhaps they were chosen, rather than random. To grasp just how unlikely our existence is, scientists have tried to calculate the probabilities of a planet like Earth forming. The results are staggering. Consider what's needed: a stable star, in the right stage of its life, a planet the right size, so its gravity can hold an atmosphere but not crush life with pressure, a location in the habitable zone, where temperatures allow liquid water, a moon large enough to stabilize the planet's tilt, a magnetic field strong enough to protect against stellar radiation, an atmosphere with the perfect chemical balance. Billions of years without catastrophic destruction. When you multiply the odds of all these factors, and many more, aligning in one place, the number becomes so small, it's almost meaningless. Some scientists describe it as one chance in a number larger than all the atoms in the universe. Others say it's like winning the lottery, not once, but every day, for millions of years in a row. This doesn't mean Earth is the only place life could exist. In fact, many astronomers believe there are other habitable planets scattered through the galaxy. But even if there are, they are likely incredibly rare compared to the vast emptiness of space. And the question remains, if the laws of physics themselves are so precise, why are they that way? Some scientists, looking for a natural explanation, have turned to the idea of the multiverse, the possibility that our universe is just one of countless others, each with different laws and constants. In this view, most universes might be dead and empty, but in a few, including ours, the conditions happen to be right for life. We live in one of the rare universes where life is possible, simply because it's the only kind of universe we can live in. Others see fine-tuning as evidence of intention, To them, the precision of these physical laws suggests that the universe was designed to produce life. They compare it to walking into a room and finding a safe full of money. You could say it was pure chance that the safe was left open, but isn't it more likely that someone opened it for a reason? The debate over fine-tuning is not just scientific, it's philosophical. It reaches into questions about purpose, meaning, and the origin of everything. Some physicists caution against jumping to conclusions, pointing out that just because something is rare doesn't mean it was designed. But even they admit the numbers are strange. The settings of the universe don't just allow life, they seem to welcome it. Consider water, the most common liquid on Earth and the basis for all known life. Its properties are so unusual that if they were slightly different, life would be impossible. For example, water is one of the few substances that expands when it freezes, which is why ice floats. If it didn't, lakes and oceans would freeze from the bottom up, trapping all life in ice forever. Was this just an accident, or part of the same fine-tuned design we see everywhere else? Or think about carbon, the element that forms the backbone of life's chemistry. The way atoms fuse inside stars produces carbon in just the right amounts, thanks to a delicate balance in nuclear forces. Change that balance, and carbon might be almost non-existent. Without carbon, there would be no life. At least, not life anything like us. Even the age of the universe plays a role. If it were much younger, there wouldn't have been time for heavy elements to form in stars and scatter into space. If it were much older, most stars would have burned out, leaving a cold, dark cosmos. We live in a very specific window of time, a cosmic moment when life is possible. When scientists speak about these things, they often use careful technical language. But step back from the equations for a moment, and what you see is astonishing. The universe isn't just a random scatter of matter and energy. It's a precise arrangement of forces, constants, and conditions that work together in harmony. Whether you believe this is the result of chance, natural law, or conscious design, it's hard not to be moved by the elegance of it all. The science of design doesn't prove a designer. It doesn't tell us whether the universe was created by God, by an advanced intelligence, or by some unknown process. But it does reveal something extraordinary. Our existence depends on a series of cosmic coincidences so precise that they seem to defy the odds. It is as if the universe knew we were coming, and perhaps, in a way, it did. Nature often feels like a grand tapestry, a vast, intricate artwork where every thread is perfectly placed. When we look closer, the patterns are so precise, so mathematically beautiful, that it's hard not to wonder if they were deliberately woven. From the spiral of a seashell to the branching of a tree, nature seems to speak a language of numbers and shapes. The more scientists study these patterns, the more they discover a silent code that holds the blueprint of life itself. A language written long before humans could read it. One of the most mesmerizing examples of this is the Fibonacci sequence. A simple series of numbers, where each one is the sum of the two before it. 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and so on. This sequence doesn't just live on paper, it appears everywhere in the natural world. Look at a sunflower, and you'll see the seeds arranged in perfect spirals, matching the Fibonacci numbers. Examine the spiral of a nautilus shell, and you'll find it follows the same mathematical law. Even the way leaves grow on a stem, spaced just right so each one gets sunlight, follows this timeless pattern. It's as if nature has been quietly counting all along. Symmetry, too, is a hallmark of life's design. A butterfly's wings mirror each other perfectly. Snowflakes, though no two are exactly alike, each carry a flawless six-sided symmetry. Human faces, the petals of flowers, the bodies of starfish, all reveal a balance that feels pleasing and harmonious. Why does nature favor symmetry? Some scientists say it's because symmetry is efficient and stable. Others believe our sense of beauty evolved from this natural balance, but deep down, it's tempting to think of symmetry as nature's signature, a sign that the world was crafted with care. If mathematics is nature's architecture, DNA is its library. Hidden in every living cell, DNA is a code, a long string of 4 chemical letters that spell out the instructions for life. This language is universal. From the smallest bacterium to the largest whale, all living things share the same genetic alphabet. The complexity is staggering. A single strand of DNA holds more information than thousands of encyclopedias. It determines the color of your eyes, the shape of a leaf, the scent of a rose. It not only builds life but also allows it to adapt, change, and survive through generations. Yet DNA does not work in isolation. Life on Earth is built on relationships, an invisible web where every creature, every plant, every drop of water plays a role. In a rainforest, trees provide shelter for birds. Birds spread seeds for plants, insects pollinate flowers, and fungi recycle the dead into nutrients for the living. In the ocean, plankton feeds small fish, which feed larger fish, which feed sharks, and when those sharks die, their bodies sink to the depths, nourishing the life below. This interdependence means that no species truly stands alone. Each is a note in a much larger symphony. When we step back and see the whole picture, the mathematics and petals, the spirals of galaxies, the code of DNA, The delicate balance of ecosystems, the sheer precision is almost overwhelming. The patterns are not random. They feel deliberate, as if the universe has been following a grand design since the beginning of time. These intricate connections remind us that life is not just a collection of separate parts, but a single, breathing whole. And perhaps that is the most profound truth of all, that in every leaf, every cell, and every heartbeat, there is a whisper of something greater, something that wanted it all to be exactly as it is. For thousands of years, humanity has looked up at the skies and down at the earth beneath their feet, wondering not just how our world came to be, but who, if anyone, might be responsible for it. If Earth truly was designed, then the next question is unavoidable: by whom? This single question has given birth to myths, religions, philosophies, and bold scientific theories. It is a question that touches both our deepest faith and our wildest imagination, forcing us to confront the possibility that we are part of something far bigger than ourselves. For many, the answer lies in religion. Almost every faith on earth holds a story about a creator, a higher being, or divine intelligence that shaped the world with purpose. In Christianity, God is described as speaking the universe into existence, carefully crafting the heavens and the earth. In Islam, Allah is seen as the all-knowing designer who created life with intention and balance. Hinduism offers a rich tapestry of creation myths, where gods like Vishnu and Brahma play central roles in forming the universe and maintaining its order. Indigenous traditions often speak of a great spirit or ancestral beings who molded the land, planted the forests, and breathed life into animals and humans. These stories, while different in details, share a common thread: the belief that Earth is not an accident, but the work of an intentional mind, filled with meaning. In these religious perspectives, Earth's beauty and balance are seen as proof of its divine origin. The perfect distance from the sun, the delicate cycle of seasons, the abundance of food and water, all these are viewed as signs of care and craftsmanship. Believers see the planet as a gift, entrusted to us by a creator who designed it for life to flourish. In this view, every sunrise is a reminder of divine artistry, and every breath we take is part of a greater plan. For those who hold this faith, asking by whom is not a mystery, it is an affirmation. But in our modern age, new ideas have emerged. Ideas that are less rooted in ancient scriptures and more in digital logic. One of the most provocative is the simulation theory. This theory suggests that our universe, our Earth, and even our very thoughts could be part of an incredibly advanced computer program. In this vision, the designer might not be a god in the traditional sense, but rather an advanced civilization, possibly human, possibly alien, running a simulation for reasons we can only guess at. Think of it like a cosmic video game, but one where the players themselves don't even know they are inside it. The simulation theory challenges everything we think we know about reality. It asks unsettling questions. If Earth is a simulation, are our memories programmed? Are the laws of physics just lines of code? Could someone, somewhere, pause, rewind, or alter the program at will? While this sounds like pure science fiction, some scientists and philosophers argue that it's mathematically more likely than not. They point to the rapid growth of our own technology, noting that we are already creating virtual worlds and artificial life. If humanity can do this in a few decades, what could a civilization millions of years ahead of us achieve? Then there is the alien seeding hypothesis, a concept that blends science with cosmic mystery. This idea suggests that life on Earth was not born here at all, but was planted. Perhaps billions of years ago, an alien civilization, advanced beyond our imagination, discovered a lifeless Earth and saw its potential. They may have sent microorganisms in spacecraft, or even visited themselves, placing the seeds of life in the oceans or soil. Over eons, these seeds evolved into the life forms we know today. This theory, known as panspermia, does not require these beings to still be watching us, but it raises haunting possibilities. Were they scientists conducting an experiment? Were they gardeners sowing seeds in a cosmic field? Or were they travelers leaving a mark of their existence before moving on? If true, it would mean humanity is part of a much larger family, one that stretches across the stars. Our origins would not be bound to Earth, but to a shared story of life in the universe. What makes the question of by whom so powerful is that it is not just about origins, it's about identity. If a divine being designed Earth, then we might see ourselves as caretakers of a sacred creation. If we live in a simulation, we might be characters in someone else's grand narrative. If we were seeded by aliens, we might be the children of ancient bears. Each possibility changes the way we think about our purpose, our future, and our place in the cosmos. And yet, as much as we search for the answer, it remains just out of reach. We have fragments, myths, equations, theories, but not the whole truth. Perhaps that is the greatest design of all, to give us enough clues to wonder, but not enough to be certain. In that uncertainty, humanity finds both its restlessness and its hope, forever looking up at the night sky, asking the same question whispered across generations. If Earth was designed, who designed the designer? For as long as humans have been able to think beyond mere survival, we've asked one of the most profound questions imaginable. If Earth was designed, then what was it designed for? Was this planet made simply for life to exist? Or was it made specifically for us, for human beings, with our minds, our emotions, and our endless hunger for meaning? The search for this answer has taken humanity across continents, deep into the oceans, and far into the heavens. Yet it always circles back to the same place, the human heart. When we look at Earth, we see a perfect cradle for life. The temperature is just right, the atmosphere is breathable, and there is water in every corner of the globe. The cycles of day and night, the changing of seasons, the balance between predator and prey, all seem to work together as if part of a grand design. But here's the thing, life on Earth is not just human life. The forests, the coral reefs, the grasslands, and the icy poles are teeming with creatures that have nothing to do with us. Insects outnumber us by the trillions. Trees live centuries longer than any person ever could. Whales sing songs in the deep that no human ear will ever hear. If Earth was made with care, perhaps it was not made only for humanity, but for life in all its diverse and breathtaking forms. And yet, there's something undeniably different about us. Unlike any other species we know, humans can ask why. We can step outside the raw struggle for food and shelter, to wonder about the stars, to paint art, to compose music, to invent languages. We don't just exist, we reflect on our existence. We tell stories about our origins and futures. We pass down ideas from generation to generation, building civilizations that live far beyond any single human lifespan. This self-awareness, this consciousness is something so rare, so fragile, that it feels as if it must have a purpose. Some believe that consciousness itself is the reason Earth exists. In this view, the universe wanted to know itself, and so it created beings capable of thought. Stars burned, planets formed, life evolved, all leading to the moment when one species could stand on a shoreline, watch the sunset, and feel awe. If this is true, then humans are not the owners of Earth, but the eyes and mind of the cosmos. Our role is not to dominate, but to observe, to learn, and to preserve the beauty around us so it can continue to inspire future minds. Others believe Earth was designed as a home specifically for humanity, a place where we could grow and thrive until we were ready to explore beyond it. In this view, the rivers and mountains are like the walls and floors of a great nursery, sheltering us while we develop the tools and wisdom to leave. The danger in this belief, however, is the temptation to see ourselves as the center of everything, to forget that other life forms share this home with us and are equally part of its design. If the planet was made for us, perhaps it was not meant as a kingdom, but as a classroom, where we are meant to learn harmony, compassion, and responsibility. And then there is the possibility that purpose is not given, but created. Even if Earth was not designed for us, we might still choose to give our lives meaning. The absence of a clear purpose can be frightening, but it can also be liberating. It means that every person, every generation, has the freedom and the responsibility to decide what the purpose of life will be. Some will choose love, others will choose knowledge. Others will choose to protect and care for the fragile web of life that holds us all. In this way, Earth's design might not be fixed, but an ongoing collaboration between the universe and us. Human consciousness is both a gift and a burden. We can see beauty in a flower, but also imagine a future where flowers no longer exist. We can feel joy at a child's laughter, but also mourn losses that haven't yet come. This awareness drives us to search for meaning, but it also forces us to confront the possibility of meaninglessness. It's in this tension between hope and doubt that we live out our days, and perhaps that's the real design. Not to give us easy answers, but to give us questions powerful enough to shape our lives. When we gaze at the night sky, we are reminded of how small we are in the vast ocean of the cosmos. And yet, in that same moment, we feel the enormity of our own experience, the loves we've known, the dreams we've chased, the struggles we've overcome. It's as if the universe whispers that our lives matter, not because they are grand in scale, but because they are deeply and uniquely human. So maybe the purpose of Earth's design isn't about serving one species over another, maybe it's about creating a stage where life, in all its forms, can play out its stories. From the tiniest ant building its nest, to the human poet writing about the stars. Maybe our role is not to be the final goal of creation, but to be one voice in the great chorus of life, singing alongside countless others. And in the end, perhaps the purpose of Earth is something we can fully know while we're reliving on it. It might only be clear in hindsight, from a perspective beyond our own. Until then, we search, we question, and we create meaning in the moments we're given. In laughter shared, in hands held, in sunsets watched in silence. Whether Earth was made for life or for us, it has given us the rarest gift of all, the chance to wonder about why we are here. Even after centuries of science, philosophy, and storytelling, the truth about whether Earth was designed remains an unfinished puzzle. We have gathered thousands of pieces from ancient myths to modern physics, but the picture they form is still incomplete. Some pieces fit together beautifully, hinting at patterns, purpose, and a grand design. Others seem mismatched, showing chaos, randomness, and the indifference of nature. And in between them lies the vast, uncharted territory of what we still don't know. Our curiosity is as old as humanity itself. Ancient people once believed the sky was a great dome, the stars tiny lamps lit by unseen hands. Later, explorers crossed oceans, realizing Earth was a sphere floating in space. Then scientists discovered atoms, DNA, galaxies, each discovery pulling back another layer of the mystery. But each time we answered one question, a dozen more emerged. Where did the first spark of life come from? Why is the universe built on mathematical laws? Why does consciousness exist at all? These questions sit before us like puzzle pieces without edges, daring us to keep searching. The danger, of course, is in thinking we already have the answer. When we assume the puzzle is solved, we stop looking for new pieces. We close the door to discoveries that could change everything. History is filled with examples. Times when people declared we know all there is to know, only for the next generation to uncover something that shattered the old understanding. In the 1800s, many scientists believed there was nothing more to learn about physics until Einstein rewrote our concept of space and time. If we decide too quickly that Earth's design, or lack of it, is settled, we risk blinding ourselves to truths that might be waiting just beyond our reach. But there's another danger, one that lives on the other side of certainty. The fear that because we don't know the answer, the search is meaningless. Some people grow tired of the unknown, thinking that if the puzzle is incomplete, it's not worth working on. But what if the very act of searching is the purpose? What if the puzzle was never meant to be finished, but to be explored forever? Each new piece we find deepens our appreciation for the mystery itself. The journey becomes as valuable as the destination. There is a unique kind of wonder in admitting, I don't know. It's the same wonder a child feels when looking up at a sky full of stars. The not knowing leaves space for for imagination, for possibilities we haven't yet dreamed of. It keeps us humble in a universe that is infinitely larger than we are. It reminds us that we are part of something vast, ancient, and still unfolding. Consider the oceans. Even today, with satellites mapping every continent and submersibles exploring the depths, scientists believe we have only seen a fraction of the life hidden beneath the waves. There may be creatures down there that have existed for millions of years, completely unknown to humanity. The same is true of the universe beyond our planet. There are worlds out there we haven't yet imagined, forces and phenomena that could rewrite everything we think we know about design, life, and reality itself. And so, the puzzle of Earth's purpose and origin is not just a scientific problem, it is an emotional and philosophical one. It asks us to balance curiosity with humility, to hold both wonder and skepticism in our hands at the same time. We may never find the final piece, but in looking for it we uncover countless other treasures along the way. A deeper connection to the planet, a respect for the complexity of life, and a sense of belonging in the cosmic story. Some people see the incomplete puzzle as a flaw, a frustration, something to be fixed by finding the answer, but others see it as a gift. Imagine if we knew everything. If the mystery was gone, life might lose some of its magic. The unknown gives our lives texture. It invites explorers to set sail, scientists to build telescopes, artists to paint visions of other worlds, and ordinary people to lie in the grass and dream about what's out there. The question, was Earth designed? Might never have a clear yes or no answer, but maybe that's not the point. Maybe the point is to keep asking, to keep searching, and to keep allowing ourselves to be surprised. Because in those moments of surprise, when a new discovery reshapes our understanding, we feel more alive, more connected, and more human than ever before. The unfinished puzzle is not a flaw in the universe. It's an invitation to explore the known, question the familiar, and venture into the unknown with open minds and open hearts. To accept that some mysteries are meant to be lived with, not solved. To understand that the beauty of Earth, whether designed or not, lies not just in what it is, but in the fact that we get to wonder about it at all. And maybe, just maybe, the greatest design of all is that we are forever curious creatures, standing at the edge of the known, looking into the vastness, and taking one more step forward. When you step back and look at Earth, not just as a planet, but as a work of art, something deep inside you changes. It's no longer just the place where we live. It becomes a masterpiece, a canvas painted over billions of years with mountains as its brushstrokes, oceans as its shimmering ink, and forests as its living texture. Every detail feels intentional, from the way sunlight dances across a field in the early morning to the way the stars emerge one by one at night. Seeing Earth this way is like walking into a gallery and realizing the most beautiful creation you've ever seen is the one you've even standing on your whole life. This perspective has an emotional weight. It makes you feel small, but not in a hopeless way. Small in a way that connects you to something greater. You realize you are part of a grand design, whether it came from the hand of a creator, the flow of nature, or a cosmic accident that somehow birthed life. And when you understand that, your daily worries suddenly seem lighter. The noise of the world fades, replaced by a quiet awe at the miracle of simply existing here, in this moment, on this planet. Think about it. Of all the possible combinations of matter, energy, and time, this is where you ended up. This tiny blue world, spinning through the vast dark, has given you life, air, water, and beauty. It has given you sunrises, the sound of rain, the laughter of people you love. Even the struggles and hardships you face are part of a much larger story. one that is still unfolding. And when you see Earth as a masterpiece, you begin to understand that you, too, are a brushstroke in that story. This shift in perspective also changes the way we see our place in the universe. If Earth is a masterpiece, then we are not just observers, we are caretakers. A painting in a gallery is protected, cleaned, and preserved, because people understand its value. Shouldn't we feel the same about our home? Every forest we cut, every ocean we pollute, every species we lose is like scraping paint off a priceless work of art. When we see Earth as a masterpiece, we no longer think of it as something we own. We see it as something we've been trusted with, something we must protect, not just for ourselves, but for every living thing that shares it. This awareness can spark something powerful inside us, a sense of belonging. Many people spend their lives searching for purpose, feeling disconnected from the world around them. But when you realize you are part of something this intricate and beautiful, that feeling of separation begins to fade. You start to see that your existence is not random, not meaningless, but woven into the same tapestry that makes a sunset beautiful or a river flow. That connection is not just poetic, it's grounding. It gives you a reason to care, to act, to live with intention. And yet, the beauty of seeing Earth as a masterpiece is not just in its physical form, but in the mystery behind it. Even the greatest artists often leave some parts of their work unexplained, inviting the viewer to bring their own meaning. The Earth does the same. We don't have all the answers about how it came to be this way, and maybe we never will, but that uncertainty doesn't diminish the wonder, it enhances it. The unknown makes the known more precious. The unanswered questions give depth to what we can see and touch. When you stand on a mountaintop and look out at the horizon, or dive beneath the waves and feel the quiet heartbeat of the ocean, you're not just experiencing nature. You're stepping into a masterpiece that has been in the making since before humans existed. Every detail, from the pattern on a seashell to the spiral of a galaxy, is part of a larger composition. And in that moment, you realize something profound. You're not outside of the painting, looking in, you're inside it. You are part of it. This perspective also shifts how we see the future. If Earth is a masterpiece, then the story isn't finished yet. The brush is still moving, and we are holding it together. Our choices, the way we treat each other, the way we treat the planet, are the next strokes on the canvas. And while we cannot undo the past, we can decide what kind of beauty or damage we add to the picture from this moment forward. That realization gives our actions more weight. It makes kindness feel like sunlight, pollution like a dark stain, and hope like a burst of color that can change the entire mood of the painting. Seeing Earth as a masterpiece also brings a quiet kind of courage. In the face of so much uncertainty about the universe, about life, about our place in it all, it's easy to feel lost. But when you recognize the beauty around you, it's like holding on to a thread that runs through the entire fabric of existence. It reminds you that even in chaos, there is order. Even in darkness, there is light. Even in smallness, there is meaning. And maybe the most humbling part is realizing that this masterpiece won't last forever. One day, far in the future, the Earth as we know it will change. The oceans will shift. The mountains will wear down. The sun will swell and fade. But right now, we have this moment. We have this world, this time, this beauty. That makes every sunrise more valuable, every heartbeat more precious, every connection with another human being more sacred. In the end, seeing Earth as a masterpiece is not just about admiration, it's about transformation. It changes how we think, how we live, how we love, and how we dream. It turns us from passive inhabitants into active participants in the great unfolding work of art that is our planet. And if enough of us see it this way, maybe we can ensure that future generations will stand where we stand now, look out at this same beauty, and feel the same awe. Because if the Earth truly is a masterpiece, then the greatest honor we can give it is to live like we know it, to protect it like we would protect a priceless treasure, to cherish it, explore it, and care for it, not just because it's our home, but because it's the most beautiful creation we may ever know. As our journey through these ideas comes to an end, I want you to take a moment and picture where you are right now, not just in your room, not just in your city, but in the vastness of space. You are sitting on a planet that is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, orbiting a star that blazes with unimaginable energy, drifting through a galaxy that holds hundreds of billions of stars. And yet, in this infinite backdrop, you exist here, in this very moment. Hearing these words, that is nothing short of extraordinary. Every mystery we've explored, the origins of Earth, the possibility of design, the unanswered questions about our place in the universe, is a reminder that our story is far from over. In fact, it may be just beginning. We humans have a habit of thinking we've reached the edge of knowledge, that we've solved the puzzle. But time and again, the universe surprises us, showing us that beyond every answer lies another question, and beyond every discovery lies another wonder waiting to be found. That's the beauty of exploration. It never really ends. The more you learn, the more you realize there is to learn. Standing on the shore of the unknown, you can see both the comfort of what you know and the infinite mystery of what you don't. It can be intimidating, yes, but it can also be deeply exciting. It means there will always be something to seek, always a reason to keep asking what if, and why, and how. And in that curiosity lies something powerful. Curiosity is what drove our ancestors to cross oceans they had never seen, to climb mountains they thought might touch the sky, to look up at the stars and imagine walking among them. It's what keeps scientists awake at night, what fuels artists to create, what pushes inventors to dream of worlds that do not yet exist. Without it, we would still be huddled in the dark, staring at the same patch of land, never realizing the world was far bigger and far more beautiful than we imagined. So as you step away from this story, I hope you carry that same spark with you. I hope you keep looking for the strange and wonderful things hidden in plain sight. I hope you notice the way sunlight filters through leaves, or how the night sky changes with the seasons, or how even the smallest insect is part of a grand, interconnected web of life. Because the truth is, you, Dan T, have to travel to another galaxy to experience wonder. It's right here, under your feet, above your head, and within your own beating heart. But here's something else to remember. Exploration is not just about discovery, it's also about connection. The more you learn about the Earth, the more you see yourself as part of it, and part of something even greater. Every breath you take contains molecules that have traveled through mountains, oceans, and clouds. Every drop of water you drink has been part of countless lives before yours. Every atom in your body was forged in the heart of a star that exploded billions of years ago. When you truly understand that, you realize you're not just living on Earth, you're living with it. And once you feel that connection, the idea of protecting our planet stops being a chore and starts being an act of love. We are not separate from the world around us, we are woven into it. The forests, the rivers, the creatures, the air, the soil, they are part of the same masterpiece we've been talking about all along. And masterpieces are meant to be preserved, not taken for granted. So let this be more than just the end of a video. Let it be the beginning of a new way of seeing the world. Let it be the start of you becoming a lifelong explorer. Someone who doesn't just seek answers but treasures the questions. Someone who recognizes that there's always more to learn, more to feel, more to experience. Someone who understands that every step you take is not just movement through space, but movement through the great, unfolding story of life on Earth. We live in an age where the unknown is shrinking. Satellites map the planet, telescopes peer into deep space, and algorithms predict what we'll do next. But there will always be things that no machine can measure. Moments of awe, flashes of inspiration, quiet realizations that make you stop in your tracks. Those are the moments that make life worth living, and those are the moments that keep the spirit of exploration alive. So here is my invitation to you. Keep exploring, not just with your eyes, but with your mind and your heart. Explore the vastness of the universe, yes, but also explore the depth of human kindness, the resilience of life, and the mystery of your own existence. Let curiosity be your compass, and let wonder be your destination. Because at the end of the day, the world is far too beautiful, far too complex, and far too fleeting to simply watch from the sidelines. Go out and experience it. Touch the earth, feel the wind, listen to the rain. Stand in awe beneath the stars, and remember that you are not just a visitor here. You are a part of this story, and your chapter is still being written. And as long as there are questions to ask, mysteries to solve, and beauty to discover, there will always be a reason to keep going, to keep searching, to keep exploring. The journey is endless, and that is what makes it so wonderful. Then, let me leave you with this. If this journey made you feel something, if it opened your eyes or stirred your curiosity, don't let it end here. There are countless more stories waiting to be told, mysteries still hidden in the shadows, and wonders you've yet to see. By subscribing, you're not just clicking a button, you're joining a circle of explorers, dreamers, and seekers who believe the world is still full of magic. Stay with us, and together, we'll travel beyond the edges of the map, into places where science meets wonder, and the ordinary becomes extraordinary. Keep watching, because the next story might just change the way you see everything.